was fun. This was a fun project to create. I really didn't have a plan and an idea in my head how I was going to use the stuff that I had to make a bag that was insulated. I built this for me, so good enough for who it's for. So right here I've got this rough sketch. I just drew up basically a box. This is going to be a lunch sack. I just kind of developed some sizes that I wanted the bag to be. I added on to that basic size. I added on sewing allowances and hem allowances. I've got myself a rough cut list for this lunch bag. I wanted to, well, I've been saving these coffee bags because they seemed like a useful material. I didn't know for what exactly. I got this idea that I want to make this lunch sack that's insulated. These coffee bags as the inside moisture resistant lining. So I thought that would be a good way to reuse some otherwise just trash. So what I realize is these dimensions are for the canvas that goes on the outside, and so in these parentheses I worked out what the total height of the side piece, and the height of the bag will be 13 inches. I added 2.5 inches for a hem, so I'll have a 2.5 inch hem that folds back down to the inside of the bag. There'll be a 1/2 inch to fold on the inside of that 2.5 inch hem, and there'll be a 1/4 inch sewing allowance on the bottom. Those added up together, I need to cut that piece 16 1/4. But the lining won't need to be inside the hem like that. So I just want to quickly make myself a cut list for the lining. So really the only difference is the height of the lining compared to the canvas. So basically the parts of the bag are the bottom, two sides, front and back. With a bonus, whatever these are. These let out moisture or something. I guess that's cool. For insulation, I just happen to have this kind of felt stuff, but you know, if you were going to do something, it wouldn't have to be this. It could be batting or something, or maybe you've got some quilted material already. You could use that, but anyway, I'm using this because I got it. And much like the lining, you know, I'm trying to use stuff that you know, I already got. Bottom, sides, front and back. For the outside material, I've just got some stuff I got at an auction, and this stuff, well, I don't know, it's probably like polyester or something. I don't guess I know for sure, but as you can see, I got a lot of it. It didn't cost me very much. You know, it's tough like Cordura or something. Like I said, I don't think I know what it is. I don't have any sort of label or anything, but it ought to be tough enough. You know, you could probably make something out of denim or canvas or any sort of cotton print or whatever you like, really. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go with this. Figure out what I need. And yeah, so about this wide from the end, and I'll have a little bit extra, so I'll just cut right here. So I got the outer shell I got the insulation, and I've got the lining. So now I just assemble it. So I'm going to assemble my 3 layers on each panel all together, and I'm just going to use some spray adhesive. I'll have a similar product linked in the description. So that adhesive is not super sticky, and I stuck it down once and the material's stiff and it wants to straighten out, but it's just enough to hold it. I got my line here, so I'll just go ahead and stick it back down, and then I will make my fold and fold my top hem over, and then it'll hold it just for, you know, a few seconds while I get into place. Just kind of hand iron it like this. Then we'll sew it down, and the adhesive's job will be done. And so now I'm going to start to assemble them, the outsides together. This lining, the more holes you put in it, the more susceptible it is to tear. This seam, which is going to be further held in subsequent stitching, I'm going to really increase the length of that so I don't put as many holes in it. The appearance is not so critical, which here I chose this size stitch because this is what I like to look at. But here I'm going to make them bigger just so I don't weaken this lining as much. So I've got the big sides and the bottom put together. Now these 2 sides will go on like this. Okay, now I'll put each of the corners together. So I'll just go to the top and start up here, and then when it gets down to here, I just kind of force it into the corner. And the machine will help me force the material, the bulky layers, into compliance. So I'll start here at the top where I want the top to look good. So all these layers are pretty challenging to sew them all together. So what I do is I just get 3 or 4 inches aligned. So from here to here, get it lined up here, and just try to hold it and sew that 3 inches, and then I worry about from there on. Alright, so I got this kind of all hooked together. So there's a lot of the insulation showing up now. I'm going to try to bury that in a seam. And what I'm going to do now is top stitch these seams and kind of give the bag a little more squareness. seems a bit roundy right now, so let's do that. So you might remember this. I kind of built it out of an arbor. It's been pretty good. I was able to get a high quality set of dies, and that makes all the difference. You know, you kind of got to be careful to get this lined up. But then it goes off without a hitch, really. Notice how that stays up in there. That's real good. So you just put those wherever they need to be, and then you just drive her home. Yeah, look what I did. I put that on backwards. Man, I always do stuff like that. Well, it's lined up good though. Yeah, backwards. Shoot, that's backwards. Redo. All right, well, at least I know where the next one goes. Hey, much better. Okay, cool. Sometimes I do reviews on this channel. I got a package of these Kingsford lighters. They suck, okay? Just so you know. That's my product review, the Kingsford lighters. They don't last very long. They don't light every time. You know, pretty much everything that you want in a lighter, these don't. This one is brand new. The other one I got about, you know, like, let's say 7 uses out of. I don't know. That doesn't seem like enough to me. I'm just going around burning my loose ends. I use polyester thread, so this works really good for that. So not only did sewing along these seams on the outside give the bag structure and form, it also, you can see in here, it hid the raw edges. The raw edges became buried in that. So that makes the inside seem a little nicer. And you know, I guess that's not bad for, you know, just like recycled material. My original intention was to fold this to make to put a strap on it and fold it, but it's so with all the layers and the density of materials that I use, it's really resistant to bending down like that. So I just decided to go with the one snap, and it holds it closed, and you know, cold kind of stays down. I think in practice it'll work pretty good. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I have more project videos. I've got a lot of videos about machines, and I work with my hands a lot. If you like that sort of stuff, come on back and try some of my other videos.